Back to the program. My name is Abdiaziz, Hashim, and a sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is the lovely Joyce Wairimu. Now let's start with the president, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged Kenyans to join hands and fight corruption. His sentiments comes a day after Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko was arrested over corruption allegation. The president spoke when he joined Catholic faithfuls for Sunday Mass at St. Francis of Assisi Parish in Ruiru. Kaindo Stefano starts our coverage this evening.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has vowed to continue with the fight against corruption. This comes when a number of politicians and top government officials are facing corruption cases.
Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie kupigana na ufisadi tutapigana. Hiyo ni lazima.
President Kenyatta is urging politicians to desist from politicizing the fight against graft, saying that those who engage in corrupt dealings do it to benefit themselves but not the community or the tribe.
Na tuache kuingiza siasa katika mambo ya kupigana na ufisadi. Wakati ulikuwa unafanya mambo ya ufisadi, hukuwa na familia, hukuwa na jamii, hukuwa na kanisa, uliiba peke yako. Beba msalaba peke yako. Usiingize mambo mengi.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has thrown jabs at the office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution that is being led by Nordin Haji.
Nataka nimuulize Director of Public Prosecution, Bwana Nordin Haji, usishike viongozi kama ambao you mishandle them.
Cherargei is accusing DPP of being used politically.
So Bwana Nordin, wacha kutumika kisiasa. Wewe you are no longer Director of Public Prosecution, umekuwa Director of Political Persecution. Now we will tell you as it is. Pamoja na rafiki yako na ndugu yako Matiangi. Hiyo Matiangi ashukuru President Uhuru na William Ruto walipea yeye kazi.
President Kenyatta maintains that despite the ongoing corruption cases, every person is innocent until the courts prove otherwise.
Kuna njia ambaye sisi na tunaamini ya kwamba kila mmoja wetu is innocent until proven guilty.
The Council of Governors now want to meet with President Uhuru Kenyatta over the power vacuum that could hit Nairobi County following the arrest of Governor Mike Sonko. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
Now remember that the governor will be before the courts early in the morning at 7 a.m. and our court reporter Jeff Khaemba will bring you the latest on that proceeding. Now elsewhere, more than 1,000 families at a 360 apartment in Syokimau are living in fear after floods invaded their premises following heavy downpour in the country. This comes after 150 families in Nyando in Kisumu County were displaced over floods. Our reporter Jeff Khaemba with more details on that story.
This is the current situation at 360 apartment, an apartment belonging to Kings Developers Limited. Both the young and the elderly using all the possible techniques to cross over. From house to house, they board motorcycles, particularly those who do not own cars.
Personally, I had to move my family away. So I'm just alone just to see what the situation is like for the next 2-3 days. Before I also make my decision either to stay or maybe leave the estate.
There's a lot of water that's coming from right behind me. If you see, there's a wall that's broken there. So there's water that's coming all the way from the airport and from wherever it's being channeled all the way to here. And this is a place which is being affected right now.
When the floods come, we cannot access anywhere. We are just left to stay indoors. We can't even access medication to go to. I purchased the house on mortgage, and a mortgage is a plan you do for a 20-year plan.
The floods for several months has been a monster for the residents who bought the houses and some who rented.
If I was a tenant, I would have moved up that same year, the same month I would have moved. But because I'm the owner, I'm stuck here, you see. So what we want is, we want this place to be done as, it can be a very nice place.
The approvals were given by, I think, the county government of Machakos. I believe so. We are flooded. the drainage system, when we did more investigation, how do you put a drainage of around 2 inches?
But as the residents suffer from the floods, motorists on the other hand have a reason to smile following the booming business.
Kama mvua ijanyesha hapa ndani wanga tuingii kweli. Lakini kwa sasa hivi vile mvua imenyesha, kwa kweli tumeweza kuingia hapa ndani na customer wenyewe wanatutafuta. Si hata sisi ndio tunaenda kuwatafuta. Lakini sasa kuwatoa hapa ndani, sasa bei tumeongeza. Kwa sasa hizi tunasikia wazee wako na makiri kama 2 sasa hii.
Wanasema usiaitusi mganga kama bado unajifungua. So hao ni kama walikuwa wanataka tutoke ndio sasa waendelee kukaa, lakini najua siku nyingine bado wangetuhitaji. So sisi tunashukuru. Tunataka tu mvua iendelee kunyesha hivyo.
This is the particular direction where the water is flowing all the way from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Authority. The big question remains, who exactly is to blame over the drainage system?
They say this is the only opportunity for them to reap. The residents say the floods have become a commonplace every time it rains. Inside some of the houses, the living rooms are flooded with rainwater. There are a few or no walkways in parking areas.
Water came all the way from the sewers, from the door. It was just horrible, horrible.
This is a crisis, and we're looking for maybe we'll have a number of diseases around here and all that.
The water you have seen now, this is a sewer. It's coming through the manholes. It's like we don't have a drainage from this.
As the heavy rains continue to ponder each and every part of Kenya, the residents living at the 360 apartment at the Syokimau are now worried about their lives. This comes after the floods invaded their house. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaemba.
Jeff Khaemba, thank you for that piece. And remember, this downpours are continuing till the end of this month, so keep safe. Now let's dive into the world of politics. Leaders are still torn in regards to the implementation of the Building Bridges Initiative report that was launched. The Deputy President-led faction want the parliamentary way as opposed to Raila Odinga, who is clamoring for a referendum. Have a look. The BBI report continues to be a dicey topic within the political class, with leaders now struggling to come to terms on how the said report should be implemented. The Tanga political faction wanting the parliamentary way, contrary to a referendum that the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga is drumming support for.
Mambo ya BBI isiwatie hofu na isiwababaishe. Hiyo ni mambo tutaketi chini na tumekubaliana kama wa Kenya ya kwamba hatutaki tena siasa ya chuki na ugomvi na ukabila. Tunataka kubadilisha taifa letu. Nataka niwaambie mchana mapema, Makueni na Kenya haiwezi kubadilishwa kwa sarakasi.
Deputy President William Ruto has rallied more MPs behind him, a fact that is causing jitters at State House. On Friday, 97 MPs from the Rift Valley allied to Ruto met for 2 days in Naivasha, Nakuru County, ostensibly to discuss the Building Bridges Initiative report.
Juzi tulizindua hii kitu inaitwa BBI. Hata haikumaliza weekend tukasema watu wakasome. Sasa wajuaji wanazunguka kila pahali wakituambia ati vile tutafanya. Nemathie na kou.
Na video tutapitisha BBI vile Kawaya amesema. Bila drama, bila sarakasi, ikuje bunge, ikuje referendum tutapitisha. Lakini msifikirie ati hiyo ndio njia ya kumaliza fujo baada ya uchaguzi.
There is an ongoing discussion about mambo ya BBI. Sisi tumesema tumekubali kwa sababu walikuwa wanafikiria hatutakubali. Na sisi tumesema mukitaka tupitishe kwa bunge sawa. Mukitaka tuende kwa referendum sawa. After all, you are not creating any special seats for anyone.
Hiyo watakuwa wameitoa wapi? Ni unafiki ama si unafiki? Na kuchezea wa Kenya ama si kuchezea wa Kenya? Sasa hivi tunaambiwa tusome. Nyosheni mikono, wangapi wameona hiyo ripoti? Munasoma nini saa hizi? Kwa hivyo hii kuzungushana, mtuambie munataka nini?
The MPs allied to Ruto wanted to shoot down the regulations, arguing that the decision to increase the capping could only be done after the ruling party's parliamentary group took a position on the matter.
Letters wote tumeungana mkono na tumesema BBI tuna support na tunawaomba pia musome na musome zaidi.
Na hii mtoto huyu unaitwa BBI, sisi tuliletewa, lakini wakati ilikuja haikuwa na ile tulikuwa nasema hatutapitisha. Sasa BBI ni mzuri, si ni mzuri? Sisi tumekubali ailete kwetu, ailete kwa wananchi, aipelekee barabara gani, tutapitisha. Si namna hiyo?
Jameni, wacheni kukoroga wananchi, wacheni story mingi. Wananchi wanataka kazi jameni.
Away from the BBI debacle and to a developing story, a driver and one passenger of the ill-fated Mandera-bound bus have been arrested as investigations into the Al-Shabaab ambush gets underway. The two are set to be questioned over the attack that claimed 11 lives, with the highest casualty being police officers who were returning to their work stations.
According to authorities, the passenger reportedly kept using his phone throughout the journey prior to the attack. The Kenya Police Service has been the hardest hit by the attack, with 8 officers killed and 2 others still missing. 2 civilians and 1 doctor were also executed by the Al-Shabaab militants. The 10 were traveling from Nairobi to Wajir when their bus, which was carrying 56 passengers, was attacked between Kotulo and Wargadud in Tarbaj, Wajir County. According to reports, the militants flagged down the bus, ordered the passengers out before ordering non-locals to alight from the bus. 10 bodies recovered from the scene were transferred to Wajir mortuary by special forces, with 1 more being moved there on Saturday morning. The bodies of the civilians were later airlifted to Wilson Airport before being transferred to various city mortuaries, while those of the officers are said to have been airlifted to Gilgil. The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, SUPKEM, condemned the attack, indicating that the ultimate goal of the militants was to drive a wedge and cause a discord between Kenyans of different faiths. SUPKEM urged Kenyans not to fall into the trap of the extremist elements, but remain focused on building peaceful communities for harmonious coexistence. Busara Naman for Ebro TV.
Now let's come back to Nairobi County now to a sad story where the death toll from the Tasia Estate tragedy has risen to 10. Embakasi Assistant County Commissioner James Wanyoike said that 5 bodies were retrieved from the scene while 2 died at Mama Lucy Hospital.
According to Kenya Red Cross, day 3 of search and rescue operations saw 2 more people rescued on Saturday night and rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital, while 2 more bodies retrieved today. Addressing the press at the scene, Mr. Wanyoike said 5 floors have been covered in the operation, leaving 2 slabs to go. The administrator has noted that the operation had received a boost after they got another excavator from the Ministry of Roads and Public Works. 24 people are, however, still missing, according to data compiled by the Red Cross. Out of the 35 people rescued so far from the rubble, 16 have been discharged from hospital. Tenants in neighboring houses from the site have been ordered to vacate, with a nearby 1-story mabati structure also pulled down. Wanyoike said that they will not leave the site until they complete the search of all the floors. The incident saw a 6-story building collapse in Tasia on Friday morning at around 8 a.m. Winnie Lubembe for Ebro TV.
And in other news, the government, in collaboration with the agricultural experts, have warned that the misuse and overuse of antibiotics in making common infections increasingly harder to treat, and calls for an urgent need to strengthen prescription and use of antibiotics and surveillance system to encourage prudent use of antibiotics.
Despite numerous warnings and campaigns on deadly effects of misusing antibiotics, the Kenya Veterinary Board has on various occasions warned against the trend. But as it seems, a new report has shown that on the ground, it appears that farmers are still flouting the rules of antibiotics use. Dr. Victor Yamo from the World Animal Protection said though antibiotics play a significant role in treating livestock diseases, farmers are misusing them. This in turn makes the drugs start losing effectiveness, as bacteria are developing antibiotic resistance, making it hard to treat animals when they get sick. These antibiotics, according to World Animal Protection, are increasingly being added to animals' feeds to accelerate growth and prevent them from getting sick in crowded feedlots. He observed that farmers have substituted animal welfare activities and good husbandry with the use of antibiotics, thinking it is a shortcut to high yields with minimal costs, thus leading to unfit consumption of animal meat. In his statement, dairy cows and other livestock are housed in confined, crowded and poor conditions with fast growth genetics leading to high stress that compromises immunity and health. He said, and I quote, "This is encouraging the development of spread of disease, and these conditions create demand for antibiotics, which farmers easily turn to." The doctor says many a times farmers engage in such practices to make money. In a report titled Consumers' Perception on Animal Welfare and Food Safety in Dar es Salaam, the study shows that there are high likely health risks for meat consumers in the East African countries for failure to consider the animal welfare and security. In the report, farmers are less concerned about how an animal is treated before it lands on the table for consumption. Chicken, according to the survey, still remains the most loved meat in Kenya and Tanzania, with 93% of consumption, while cow meat takes about 85%.
Elsewhere, the United States has finally explained why it has cut health funding to Kenya government. According to the President's emergency plan for AIDS relief, the move was not malicious but driven by programs and data. As a result of the budget cut, various entities have suffered, including the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Services, as well as people living with HIV.
Kenya is one of the countries that has benefited the most from the U.S. President's emergency plan for AIDS relief PEPFAR resources. In 2017-2018, Kenya received 57 billion shillings, which was reduced to 50 billion shillings last year to the expected 37 billion shillings this year. This, according to PEPFAR, is as a result of lack of transparency in the Kenya's population-based HIV impact assessment (KENFIR) survey that is supposed to provide detailed information on the state of the country's AIDS epidemic. PEPFAR insists that Kenya has been carrying forward a lot of unspent money when there are some desperate countries in need of the money. After the figures were reviewed, it was found that Kenya was sitting on over 100 billion shillings that had not been spent in 5 years. The U.S. Global AIDS Coordinator, Deborah Bucks, earlier this year warned that until Kenya produces accurate nationwide survey of HIV prevalence, PEPFAR will be unable to decide how best to target aid for the country. The cut in funding has had a negative effect in the country, as hundreds of Kenyans working for NGOs funded by the U.S. government that undertake HIV-related work had been laid off. The planned cuts in spending will not result in withdrawal of life-saving antiretroviral treatment for any HIV patients benefiting from U.S. assistance, PEPFAR has pledged. However, Ms. Bucks has lauded Kenya's overall performance in the fight against HIV. Blood banks are also currently running dry as a result of the reduced funding, leaving the Ministry of Health in a dilemma on how to ensure the blood banks are well stocked. The Kenya National Blood Transfusion Services, KNBTS, has for 15 years relied on PEPFAR to fund its services. Winnie Lubembe for Ebru TV.
Despite Kenya's economic outlook remaining stable and threats of drought in 2019, results from the autumn 2019 World Business Outlook survey show that companies in countries like Germany are less optimistic about the Kenya's growth.
According to the survey, German companies' business expectations in the next 12 months dropped from 71% to 62% in the last 6 months. The report shows that firms expecting an expansion of their employee base have fallen from 45% to 38%. However, 48% of respondents expect to retain their current employee quota. Back here in Kenya, the recent months have seen Kenyan companies hit by a wave of layoffs, notwithstanding Kenya's ranking in ease of doing business by the World Bank, which was reported at a rise, having improved to 61 out of 190 economies globally. With that, thousands of families are staring at tough economic times in the coming months. In relation to the tough economic times in the country, experts have advised the government and private sector to stop job cuts and scale down on non-urgent projects in order to boost tax levels. In the latest report on world business, some of the pressing risks to economic growth include declining demand for products and services, shortage of skilled labor, and lack of access to financing. Thomas Wimmer, head of economic affairs at the German embassy, says the survey is proof of German companies' desire to remain active and scale operations in Kenya. Kenya's business, however, grew at an estimated 5.9% in 2018 from 4.9% in 2017, supported by good weather, eased political uncertainties, improved business confidence, and strong private consumption. Just like any other developing countries, Kenya continues to face the challenges of inadequate infrastructure, high income inequality, and high poverty exacerbated by high unemployment. The country is also exposed to risks related to external shocks, climate change, and security. The population in extreme poverty, living on less than $1 a day, declined from 46% in 2006 to 36% in 2016. But the trajectory is inadequate to eradicate extreme poverty by 2030.
And now internationally, rideshare companies such as Uber and Lyft have changed transportation in hundreds of cities around the world, allowing people with vehicles to earn money and drivers and giving commuters an alternative means to travel. But are the ride drivers fairly compensated? VOA investigates and files the following.
A protest in Los Angeles in November.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Like protesters who rallied in September, these Uber and Lyft drivers want better pay, health care, paid vacation, and other benefits. Right now, drivers only earn a cut of their fares plus tips.
We made $100, $200, $300 a day. But when you deduct all the expenses, how much you pay for gas, if you change your oil, how much you pay for your car wash.
She says there's not much left. And are the drivers business owners or employees? A California law that takes effect in January tries to answer the question, but all sides say the matter has not been settled. One driver who works for Uber and Lyft doesn't want to be an employee of either company.
It's going to limit my income. It's going to limit my freedom on being able to be king of my schedule.
But the relationship, says a labor analyst, is one-sided.
If you are an independent contractor, you come into the room, you bring a contract, and then you negotiate the conditions of the work. With Uber and Lyft drivers, there's a template. You basically have to say yes.
In September, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill to impose strict tests to distinguish contractors from employees in many fields.
It can be a construction worker, it can be a nail salon worker, janitors, it can be other more professional skills. Some of them got carved out.
Some are exempted, including doctors and lawyers. Worried truckers who want to stay independent also want an exemption. And restaurants that rely on internet-based delivery services say it will hurt business.
That's a brick and mortar that's actively engaging to expand their business through technology, and that needs to be supported and protected at all costs.
Uber and Lyft say that forcing drivers into a traditional job structure hurts drivers.
That limits their flexibility. And we know from research that at least 75% of these drivers want to remain flexible.
Uber, Lyft, and the food delivery company DoorDash are spending $30 million each to promote a compromise measure, which they hope to qualify for next year's election ballot. It would offer a guaranteed base wage and other benefits and provide for better screening and safety training for drivers. Critics say there are too many loopholes. In response to driver protests, a New York law that took effect last February guarantees drivers more than $17 an hour plus payments for distance.
We've seen that the driver pay has gone up since that time. The companies are now limiting the number of new drivers into the system, and fares aren't that different from what they were before.
In California and other places, both sides say the issues will be resolved through negotiation, fine-tuning local and state laws, challenges in court, and at the ballot box. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
28 minutes past the hour. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. But don't forget, tomorrow we have a new day with Ayub Abdikadir and Linda Alela, who will bring you the latest. Don't forget that Mike Mbuvi-Sonko will be at the docks early in the morning at 7, and our reporter Jeff Khaemba will be on standby to inform you the latest. On behalf of the team that has made this production successful, good night.